rage on that beat, going crazy.
Yokoso, yokoso, yokoso. Arigato gozaimasu. Welcome, 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 one and all. Welcome, everybody, to another episode 59, I think, of the Stadia Monday Night Chat. Of that, I'm sure. Yes, with me, your host, Clive Lindensan. I hope you're all good. I do. And I hope you're well. It's lovely to see people in the chat already. Oh, my God. Marvelous. Look, and even, look, we are honored today, ladies and gentlemen. We are honored. Stadia #1 troll is in the house. Amnar, lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Stadia Monday Night Chat. Everyone welcome, everyone welcome. Yeah, get back to trolling MM2K, as they say. Anyway, welcome, welcome, everybody in the chat. Amanar, Sednar, Dave, Jem, Ex-Predator, Nakinu, God Hero 25, of course, Inlead, or is it Inled? And Jerry, welcome, welcome, and everybody else lurking. You may not think it means much, but believe me, I am grateful to every last one of you, ladies and gentlemen, who turn up and watch this thing live. People like Dave, Cloud Gaming Dad, and all of that. It is much, much appreciated. Now, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we have another packed show, I think was the word I was looking for there. We have a packed show featuring all the latest Stadia news from the week or so, the Stadia games that have been confirmed, Stadia games rumoured, the gossip, the opinion, and all that you have come to love about the Stadia Monday Night Chat. So, ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't help. It's in lead. Brilliant. Wait a minute. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. Very good. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, put your trays away and your chair in the upright position as we get ready for takeoff, ladies and gentlemen. We get ready for takeoff. Now, before all of that, of course, hey, look, because you sometimes forget, remember to hit the likes, as I like it. YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find content like this. And if you're new here, oh, special yokoso, arigato gozaimasu, special welcome to you. Do me the honor, please. Whack that subscribe button, toggle that notification bell. In fact, if you're already subscribed and you haven't toggled the notification bell, toggle the notification bell so you know, right, you're not going to miss it when I go live with content like this. Right. That's all the shout out bits done. We've done that. Right. Games you've been playing. Of course, put the games you've been playing. Don't forget to avail yourself of the chat. Put in there the games you've been playing. All of that. Always like to see what people are playing. Get a sense of what the flavor of the month is, as well as highlighting a few things. Don't mention it, Dave. Hanks for the tea. Don't mention it. Glad it arrived. Anyway, I'll be highlighting the interesting chats just like that. Super chats will also get you noticed and be appreciated, of course, using the fancy cool functionality that I have provided a handy guide for any YouTube content creators stroke streamers out there. MM2K was using it. Eddie's going to be using it. A few other people have been using it. It's great to see. Super simple, free and easy. And you can do things like that. Hi, Dave. And it looks great. Anyway, games, ladies and gentlemen, games. For me, Judgment, of course. Oh, my God. I think I've got a problem. No, I know I've got a problem. I have a real longing for Japan at the moment. It's weird, but it's not weird. I don't know if it's the game that's kind of helping inform that longing for Japan, or because of my longing for Japan, I keep going back to Judgment. I watched a YouTube video a couple of days ago, one of these walk around videos. So there's a YouTube video. There's no commentary, just somebody walking around the city slowly, just to give you a sense of the idea. And this guy was doing a walk around of Akihabara. I'm saying that right. Akihabara Station in Tokyo, the district there. And I tell you what, it looks just like Judgment. It's uncanny how accurate it seems to be Judgment. And I guess it's probably a bit like, I don't know, Watchdog Legions in London. You know, there's bits of it that look like really accurate. Not that I played it, but from what I've seen. So, yeah. Of course, Resident Evil Village. Oh, my God. Wow. Loving it. I'm really getting into it now. Really getting into the flow. That whole first part, I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but the whole first part in Lady D's house, it did seem for me to take quite a while, but I think I was getting used to the game. I was loving it, but the next few levels I seem to have rattled through really quickly. I'm not sure whether it's because I'm sort of getting the hang of the sort of the game mechanics and the process that you need to go through and that, or whether it's just the balance of the game. But yeah, loving it. And I can say, no spoilers, but the dollhouse bit, anybody who's played it, the dollhouse bit, WTF. Oh my God. What's that all about? Hideous. I'm nearing the end game now. So, yeah, and it makes me want to go back and finish Resident Evil 7, which I never got around to finishing it because I wanted to get on and play the village. But yeah, honestly, if you've not played it, Project Storm. If you've not played it, get onto it. Trails, says God Hero 25. Oh, you better believe it. Clive is alive. Clive is alive. And he's alive, just about. Trials of Cold Steel 3. Huge game, pretty good. Bought Trials 4. That's good to see, you see. In the theme, my daughter's been playing East 8 Lacrimosa of Dana. Similar sort of thing. I'd never really thought I'd be into them as much, but they are very compelling once you get into them, those games. Anyway, as I say, it's always good to see what people are playing and all of that. But ladies and gentlemen, you're not here for that. Well, you are a little bit, but let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to the news. So we'll just go to the community blog just to kick off things. Of course we are. Why not? So confirmed Animal Royale. We knew it was coming. We knew that, but confirmed by the blog. It's always good when it's confirmed by the blog. But the good thing here is 64 player battle. Good. Free to play. Excellent. This is the sort of games that will, entice people in. I've mentioned it before last week, so I'm not going to labour the point too much, but full cross-platform matchmaking and cross-progression. It's everything. That's the full Monty, isn't it? Free. It's for me, Battle Royale, but it's a free-to-play. Yeah. Cross-platform. What more can you want? Bish, bash, bosh. Looking really, really good. And then the other title is more Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. There, more adventures in that kind of old school platforming style for those that like it. I do like a platforming game. I'm not a massive fan of the old school style, but I know there's a sort of a big appetite for the Shantae and the Pirates, Shantae games and Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. So that's all good. There's no date on this Animal Royale, but coming soon. I'm anticipating, unless there was a date on the main platforms, the other platforms, Freudian slip, main platforms, you know what I mean. But I'm expecting it within by the end of June, I'd say. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Amnar, exactly. We'll play twice. Amnar saying there's only 30 people, exactly. Well, we'll play it twice, you see. We play it on our phone and on the TV at the same time with different accounts. That's how we manage it, you see. It's all very clever, how Stadia players, manage things. Anyway, there you go. So it's always good. We had this habit of finding out what games are coming, and then the following week, the Stadia community blog just confirms it. Not complaining, but, it's quite good. But the big news, ladies and gentlemen, the big news, of course, is Rainbow Six Siege. Ladies and gentlemen, now this is massive, isn't it? So this is 9 to 5. Google, shout out to Cloudy with Gaming, whatever, because he sort of read the Ubisoft earnings report from whence this comes, as it were. Ubisoft announces Rainbow Six Siege and For Honor and more coming to Stadia. And here you see the piece that was in the earnings report. So we've got the various DLC, Wrath of Druids, that's out already. We know that's there. For Honor, Year 5 Season 2 coming to Stadia. More DLC for Immortals. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege Year 6 Season 2. Stadia. And Uno 50th Anniversary, Stadia. And Tom Clancy DLC, Stadia. So, I mean, that almost as good as means if, Heartland is coming as well, the new Division 2 spin-off. And more updates for Watchdog Legion to Stadia. So all good. Now, the exciting thing is these title release schedule first quarter. So these are just for the first quarter, i.e. April to June. So it's the tax year April to June. So literally less than 6 weeks. Within the next 6 weeks, we're going to have Rainbow Six. Can you believe that? Based on this. So I'm going by this. In 6 weeks' time. That's pretty awesome. 6 weeks. I'm well excited for that. Should be fun. Let me know how you feel about it. But I think, it's pretty awesome. And the fact that it's not like we don't have long to wait for it as well. It's going to be within the next 6 weeks, by the end of June latest. So it's pretty cool as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I have another drink. Throat's going. Also this week as well, just on Twitter, and I'll come to this a bit more, but it's just really Stadia reiterating, let me just get rid of that here, that the Stadia Makers Initiative is bearing fruit, ladies and gentlemen, is bearing fruit. So they tweeted this out just to confirm. So there was this, currently this is what's cooking in the Stadia Makers program. So we know we've got these titles. Obviously, Dark Side Detective and 100 Days have arrived already, which is kind of cool. Eli, don't worry about it. Figment 2. Grime, which looks really cool. Death Carnival, which I'm really excited for. She Dreams Elsewhere. Merrick's Market. Jay and Silent Bob, Sky Climbers, and Foreclosed. So it's just interesting because we knew these were products of the Stadia Makers Initiative, but it's just nice to see, last week, Stadia reiterating, that they're investing in the grassroots and planting those seeds, and it's bearing fruit. We've got the AAA games that is, as I say, Rainbow Six Siege coming in the next 6 weeks. We've got these new developing indies delivering interesting games with diverse thought, processes and ideas and stuff. And it's really really cool to see that whole kind of mix going on. But ladies and gentlemen, as I say, it's not just the fact that with the Stadia Maker, it adds interesting games with diversity of thought to the portfolio. This is also an investment in the future, ladies and gentlemen, an investment in the gaming industry by Google. These titles aren't just for Google, they're for other platforms. But what Google is doing is planning for the long term. This is a long-term initiative. You need to seed the development of new talent for the future, not just immediate results. The short term, yes, the short term is some interesting games that we're going to get over the next few months or so. The long term are partners for the future. Yeah, partners for the future. Oh, look, it's that word again. Yeah, let me help you out, ladies and gentlemen, because I know some people struggle with that word. So I've got some help for you here. Here we go.
Future.
Okay, future. Okay, so I hope you got that. I just thought, I like to provide a service for some people who don't quite get it, But basically, Stadia is planning for the future. Yeah, future. Say it together with me. Future. Future. It's like a CH in it. It's hard to get your tongue around. Some people. Future. Yeah. Anyway. More games, talking about diversity of thought, ladies and gentlemen, thinking about diversity of thought, some more kids games. Now, obviously, kids games aren't going to be for everybody, ladies and gentlemen, but rumored, because it was recently certified, is this game called Gigantosaurus. Proper kids game, this is, you can sort of see. That's an advert, Clive, not a kid's game. Here we go. Gigantosaurus. So this was recently certified as for coming to Stadia. So let me just take the desktop down. a kiddies game. I think this is on the Switch at the moment. But again, it's about having that kind of mix of games. And along with, of course, the other game, which is going to come to me any minute, that we talked about last week that looked like it was coming, there does seem to be a flurry of children's games as well, which to me is interesting because it's perhaps reflective of the demographics. You know, family gaming, the older gamer with kids, etc. You know, and you could play on any screen. Go and play it here. Play it on the phone. Go and play it in the telly in your room. Yeah. We already know we've got Paw Patrol coming. We've got Blaze and the Monster Machines, which is, I think, a Cartoon Network cartoon. We've got a game for that. That was recently rated on the USK certification board. So it's good to see there's a real, you know, so today, within this last 10 minutes, I've mentioned Rainbow Siege 6, massive AAA, For Honor, not sort of AAA game. We've got, you know, quirky, exciting, interesting indie games from brand new developers, given a chance, given a platform, a lift up. And we've got kids games. So it's just that real kind of good mix. I know you're only trolling them now, but seriously, those Stadia Maker games ain't shovelware. They're really interesting games, really dealing with interesting concepts and thoughts and notions. Yeah, but I know you love trolling us. Right. Let's just get rid of that video a minute. Done with that one. Shout out to Jem, I think, who found that Gigantosaurus story. He also, another one, Jem here. Oh no, that was Blaze, so I'm looking at the wrong one there. Blaze, I was about to say, here we are. Now, again, shout out to Jem on this one. Ark Survival Evolved, rated on the ESRB. Now, it may have been rated before, but I think someone said they'd seen this before a few weeks ago. So this may not mean that much. But if this if this is a fresh rating, then could this be an indication that Ark Survival is due? We know the main DLC is due, I think, on the 26th of May. So that's like only, next week or so. So is this pending for the next kind of week or so? Don't know. So again, shout out to Jem on that one as well. And talking of Jem, while we're at it, I think Jem posted recently that there with 49 games have been released on Stadia this year to date, which is more than was released in January to May last year. Understandable. And we still have the busier part of the year to come. So that's not bad. 49 to date, plus the ones I've just rattled off just now. So yeah, it's all happening, mate. Actions. Things are happening, constantly moving, evolving, new games coming, variety of games. Yeah. It's all good stuff. People say they want to see actions, and I'll come to this bit later. I ain't standing still, baby. I say we've got the busier part of the year still to come. In terms of the game release pattern, games tend to get pushed towards the back end of the year. And of course, which leads me nicely, ladies and gentlemen, of course, to the Stadia Lives. Yeah. It's alive. It's alive. The Google Stadia is alive and well article in the games industry .biz. I used to read this when I was in the games industry. Oh, hark at him. Yeah. I've mentioned before, this is not a consumer publication. This is a trade mag for those working in the gaming industry. That's why, to me, it's important, because it's an opinion leader, and they're talking, directly to the industry almost as well. But I also think as well, this is very much Google sighing, rolling its eyes, and just going, all right, I'll say it once more for those at the back. Yeah. Because for me, there's nothing in here which is a surprise other than Google coming out and reiterating it in very clear language. The purpose of the interview in a gaming industry trade mag, and not a consumer publication, but a gaming industry trade magazine, is that hopefully that will give the article itself veracity and credibility. Yeah. When you work for a trade magazine, you know the industry. Yeah. As a journalist, you know the industry. You're not, when you write for Consumer Mag, you're writing from a consumer point of view. You may not know and understand the nuance of the industry, but you do know, you know and understand the business from a consumer's point of view. And that's what you write about, and that's who you write to. In this, you're writing to the industry. So you, as a journalist, you need to know and understand the industry. So you can smell the BS and all that kind of stuff if you need to. So this interview, to me, has credence, veracity, and credibility because it is in gamesindustry.biz. This isn't some kind of fan site. This is a legitimate games industry publication. And what this then does is it acts as an opinion leader for the game press to pick up on and report on. That's what you want to do. You go to Protocol magazine, or you go to something like this, a higher kind of slightly kind of level magazine, or an industry magazine like this, or a trade or finance, Bloomberg or something like that, because you know that that will then get picked up by the press, ladies and gentlemen. You know that's what's going to happen. Now, there are two ways to report on this. Okay, if you are a gaming outlet or claim to be a gaming outlet, there are two ways to respond to this. Yeah. One is to report on it factually. Yeah. And add comments and opinion based on the facts quoted both from Google, because it's not just Google. This is not just a Google opinion piece. And so quoted from Google, the horse's mouth, literally them saying it, and indies in the industry working with Stadia. That's why it's a good article. It's not just Google. They also go out into the wider industry field and talk to people who are developing games for Stadia to get their view, right? So there are two ways to go, yeah? Fact-based, rational. You can have an opinion on it. You could say, well, it's not enough or anything like that. As long as it's rational and based on the facts laid in front of you, or you're quoting correctly from the article. That's one way to go. The other way to go, ladies and gentlemen, the other way to respond to this is this.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Yeah, that's the other way you could respond to it. If you have an irrational sort of dislike for Stadia, and I say irrational dislike, yeah, that's the way. But ignore those articles, yeah, based on an irrational dislike, yeah. Don't give them the clicks. Don't do that, please. Don't give them the clicks. The headline says it all. If you see a headline that says it all, don't punish yourself by reading that junk. I know it's going to be bad, but I've got to read it. No, I don't want to read it. Oh, I'm going to read it. No, I don't want to. No, don't. Do yourself a favor. Yeah? Don't punish yourself like that. You already know based on the publication that's probably publishing those clickbaity negative headline titles. You know it's going to be lack substance and credibility. So walk away. Just walk away. And please do me a favor, please. Don't retweet it or stick it on Reddit, for goodness sake, going, oh, look at this. What do you think? Can I have a comment? Don't give them the oxygen. Stadia hating, that's what it is. And this argument that seems to exist out there sometimes. Oh, Clive, yeah, no, that's great, Clive. Yeah, no, that's great. No, I understand. No, Clive, like, everyone has the right to an opinion, yeah? Yeah, they do. Everyone does have a right to an opinion. But I don't have to respect it or listen to it if it fails the basic test of rational thought and factual accuracy. The key word being thought. If you believe the earth is flat, there's no rational debate to be had with you, period. Yeah? Because you're off the scale of the area of reasonable debate. Because me presenting facts to you are going to have no bearing. Yeah? Do you remember the area of reasonable debate? Can you remember that? Who remembers that, ladies and gentlemen? You probably don't know what I'm talking about. But if you are a regular of this show, a long, long time ago, my spectrum of reasonable discourse, ladies and gentlemen. Remember this? Shout out if you remember this. I did this last year sometimes. Way, way, way back last year. This is my spectrum of Stadia opinion, yeah? The area of reasonable discourse. And at the time, I put old Young Yeezy here. Yeah. I put him right on the edge. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. He thinks Stadia's crap. But it's an opinion. He bases it on opinion. He's not 100% factually incorrect. Sometimes he makes, some interesting points. I may not agree with it, but he's right on the edge of the area of reasonable discourse. Yeah. And then you get everybody else in the middle. So you'll have 9 to 5 and you'll have Chrome Unbooked and all these kind of stuff. And they'll take different positions along here. And that's all fine. And most of the people in the Stadia community, those that don't have a sort of pattern of behavior are in here. Yeah, and that's fine. And then you've got your Dreamcast guy, 2 Aussie nits who obviously, they don't even have a Stadia. So they're just, all their opinion is based on hearsay. So they completely lose any validity. And now, as I've handily put, Kotaku just dumped it over here. They're off the scale of reasonable discourse. So don't engage. Yeah, don't engage. Simple. Yeah, of course you do, Chris, because you're a loyal viewer. Yeah, but I just thought it was time to dig it out. Time to dig it out, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's still relevant today. Yeah, that's how I engage. That's how I wrote my life. Yeah, life's too short. Life's too short to engage in people outside the realms of rational thought. Don't get me wrong. I believe in diversity of thought. Of course I do. I mean, those indies represent a diversity of thought and I love it. I do, right? The key word here is thought. I believe in the diversity of thought. But if you haven't thought it through, yeah, or given your opinion any rational thought, or choose not to think it through, I can't help you. I can't help you. I'll tell you why I can't help you, because I'm not qualified. Because you need a therapist. Yeah? To understand, you need a therapist. And I'm serious, you need a therapist to understand why you choose to ignore facts and rationale. What is it psychologically in you? What is that deeper rooted problem you have? This is more obviously applying to flat earthers, but you know what I mean? What is that deeper rooted problem you have inside? Again, I'm not qualified. I'm not a qualified psychologist. I claim to be many things. I'm not a qualified psychologist. So I'm sorry, flat earther. I can't help you. If you want to have a debate with me and you exist outside the realms of rational debate or thought and factually based argument, I can't help you. So anyway, There we are. I think I'm somewhere between Lana and Clive. Exactly, Eddie. I think, I think we're all, you can have, we're all on that scale, that spectrum, and that's fine because it's based on rational thought and debates. And if you're basing an opinion, you can say, personally, I don't think it's enough, Google coming out and saying that. Yeah, I don't think it's enough for me. That's fine. You can say that based on what they've said. That's fine. But if you misalign what they say, conflate things that they say to make a point, then that's not fine. If you see a pattern, I've said this before, right? And this, again, this is a public service information film right now. If you see a pattern of, the other thing to look out for, ladies and gentlemen, if you see a pattern of ongoing negativity against a certain thing, yeah, a pattern of behavior, to sometimes say, well, why are you constantly negative about it? When sometimes saying nothing, most people just say nothing. Why have you gone to the effort to say something negative? Yeah. There's some things just don't say anything. So what's the point? Well, I don't like it. Don't say it. Fine. If you don't like it, don't say it. What drives you to feel that you have to make that effort to tell the world you don't like it? Yeah. If it's a small minor thing and it's driven more by emotion than facts. If you see that pattern of behavior in people and they're peeing you off, life's too short. Ignore, mute, move on. Yeah. Now, here I like to bring deep thought here. And so I'm going to quote here the great 21st century philosopher and thinker I want to introduce you to. Where is she? As they say, oh, that didn't link. 1 second. I had a link to this great philosopher. I hope this is worth it now. Yeah. Okay, this will do. So I'm going to quote here one of the great philosophers of the 21st century, ladies and gentlemen, that I think will help you understand where I'm coming from on this point. And I like to bring things to an intellectual level that perhaps is new to certain people. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, to quote the great 21st century philosopher Taylor Swift, hate is going to hate. Yeah. Hate is going to hate. Okay. I like to bring a bit of intellectual rigor to these shows and stuff. So I just thought I'd kind of share that with you. But that's true. It's true. The great 21st century philosopher Taylor Swift is correct. If you want to see a really good, now I could go on for this, at length, but I'm not going to. If you want to see a really good take on this and that pattern of negativity and irrational responses to Stadia, reports and stuff like that, then check out Bryant's Nerf report from last night or yesterday. It's brilliant. It's acerbic, to the point, brilliant, a brilliant takedown on the whole overt negativity towards Stadia. We haven't got a problem with fair criticism, yeah? There's plenty. But definitely, I can't do it the justice that Brian did on the Nerf report. Check it out. His thing about why is all the game media so negative about Stadia? Check it out. It's really, really good. Anyway, great article. Let's go back to the article very quickly. Nata Hearn coming out saying, I tell any non-believers, take notice of how we're continuing to put our words into action. I've heard some people going, yeah, Clive, it's great. These are just words, but we need to see some action. Yeah. On this article, he literally says, don't listen to my words, listen to the action. Action I've just shown you since the beginning of the year. And the breadcrumbs that I've talked about in the last, 2-3 episodes. I've talked about the breadcrumbs. This is exactly what he's talking about. Yeah. But I want to look at a different take on it. So I want to look at somebody else's take on this article, which is a great article. I'm not going to go through it because I'm assuming most of you've read it. Yeah. I don't just want to repeat this, but one good article here. I found this on this French site. Don't worry, it's translated. I'm not that good at French. But this sort of sums it up, and I think is a fair assessment. After a difficult start to the year for the platform, Google says Stadia has good years ahead. Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're not adding an opinion to it. They're stating a fact. I think it is fair enough to say they had a difficult start to the year because that's absolutely true. They had to, make a bold decision to close down one part of the business. That's a difficult thing at the start of the year. Fact, correct, tick. Google Stadia has good years ahead. That's what they're saying. So, to summarize what they've just said there, Google unexpectedly shut down Stadia Games and Entertainment's first-party studios. Correct. A big blow to the developers, who were luckily given second chance, some of them thanks to Jade Raymond and her New Haven studio. So, correct. So they shut down, made loads of people redundant, tried to find them jobs elsewhere in Google, and those that couldn't or didn't want to, Jade Raymond, who was also made redundant at the time or chose to leave or take a redundancy, took some people with her. Correct. And, well done her. Well done them. Again, reiterating, we're going to launch 100 new games on Stadia in 2021. 49 we've already got. I've just shown you about, 10 or 11 games that are coming that haven't landed yet. So the games will keep coming. Continuing to grow the Stadia Makers program. As I said, planting seeds. I said it last week. I said it the week before. Working with the big AAA studios like Capcom, EA, Square Enix, Ubisoft. Yeah? Actions, ladies and gentlemen. Actions. Howdy there, Dylan. How are you? The future of Stadia is therefore all mapped out according to the company, which intends to develop the aspect devoted to third-party games, which is what they talk about. Yeah? This is all here. Google Stadia se porte très bien, merci pour lui. Yeah, very much alive. It's here to stay. Google Stadia is doing very well. Thank you for it. Google Stadia se porte très bien, merci pour lui. I hope I haven't butchered that French, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies. But that is a good take, ladies and gentlemen, yeah? Chrome Unboxed did a very positive take as well. If anything, and I'm going to be honest here, a little bit too positive, believe it or not. I almost sensed in the Chrome Unboxed article about the games industry biz article, I almost sensed a bit of frustration from the author. The frustration from the author at all the naysayers. So I kind of found the Chrome Unboxed one a bit like, whoa, mate. A bit like me. Like, it's my job is to come on here. And not my job, but, I like coming on here and ranting and supporting Stadia and going over the top about it and stuff like that. I don't think I do, but, but the Chrome Unboxed one was like, see, I told you everything's all right. Now, will you shut up and go away? But, hey, fairness to him, I'm feeling you, man. I know what it's like. I'm feeling you. Yeah, I'm feeling you. Dylan says, that's an interesting point, Dylan, here. Dylan says, at least the EU has more faith in Stadia here in the West. You know what? I think you might have a point. There is a massive French following, massive Spanish following, massive Italian following, massive German following. I mean, I watched the Spanish side. I can't speak a word of Spanish, but I watched one of the Spanish Stadia content creators. They were like 3,000 odd subscribers just on Stadia-based content. Their show gets, almost as many as somewhere between sort of what I get and Nerd Nest gets on a live show. So maybe there's a point there. Maybe there's a point. I don't know. Look, fair criticism is totally valid. Absolutely. I'm not denying that. I'm not a fool. Yeah. No one, right? No one in their right mind is going to say the launch of Stadia was stellar and amazing. Yeah. The fact that there is this perception of Stadia, you know, that's so memed and is the butt of all jokes and stuff and is constantly perpetuated, the very fact that that all exists clearly demonstrates that Stadia needs to address that, yeah? So no one's denying that, you know, you'd be a fool. The evidence clearly shows that the message didn't quite hit home correctly, for whatever reason. Yeah, it's clear the marketing message from the get-go was confused. And it's easy, like me, it's easy for me just to blame it on the average gaming consumer being thick as shizzle. Yeah? You can't blame the consumer for being thick as shizzle. Yeah? However, I don't know. Maybe you have to at the end of the day. No, at the end of the day, it's down to you as a company to make your message suitable for the audience you're aiming at. Yeah, it has to be clear and simple as possible for the audience you're targeting, which in the case of the gaming community, you know, means to be clear about what you intend to do, what you're offering, like what you're offering now and what you're offering in the future. Yeah. Dylan there's talking about internet structure. Yeah. That's interesting. I'm going to put that up here. Let me just... let me just... that's interesting. Interesting little thing here, if this is correct. Let me just, so everybody can see that chat. Bear with me, caller. There it is. Oh no, I've got to go there. Well, there. Sorry, I'm just going to make that chat. There we are. Oh. Okay, so what is... Hello, can you see me there? Interesting. Outcast was changed from Google LLC to War Chest Limited. And the War Chest terms of service... Where's it gone? Where's the bit I'm highlighting? Service privacy policy. Will please take a look at both documents. I will check. I'll check that, actually. That's interesting. Which could mean that Outcasters could go cross-platform if they're now independent, because remember it was part of SG&E to a certain degree. If they're independent, you could see Outcasters going cross-platform, which isn't going to be a bad thing. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, anyway, what was I? Yeah, so you need to be clear with your market. And back in GDC 2019, Google laid out their lofty ambitions for Stadia and cloud gaming. Yeah, this is our ambitions. This is our blue sky scenario. And then everybody just ran off going, great, can't wait until November the 19th, 2019, when the world will irreversibly change on that day. Oh my God, Sony and Xbox will crumble at the sight of such an amazing revolution, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, on November the 19th, midnight maybe, on the dot, people will run out of their houses and smash their old tech consoles on the floor. Viva la revolution! Yeah? All hail the new way! All hail Stadia! Yeah? As Stadia delivers the moon on a stick. It was never going to happen that way. And I don't think Google ever intended to change the world in an explosive manner to come out and explode onto the scene, all guns are blazing, in November 2019. Yeah. They're starting a market, a new area. They're pioneering a new area. I think 2020 has shown them you can't rush people into a revolution. Yeah. People have been used to playing in a certain way. And with all the thinking that comes with that and the language that they use that comes with that, it's ingrained. You know, words like downloads, yeah, updates, physical console owning, yeah, owning a device, yeah, all that language that goes with it. You can see what the problem is and the difficulty that Stadia has. Not just Stadia, but you know, GFN to a certain extent, and xCloud less so. But you know, you can see when everybody goes, people say, yeah, I'm thinking of getting a Stadia at the weekend. Hey guys, anybody got a Stadia? What's it like? Yeah, to me, that use of language, a Stadia, I'm getting a Stadia, yeah, that use of language indicates the sort of mind change that needs to take place. It's a hard concept for people, set in their ways, playing in a certain way, owning boxes, having a game that you download and put in or something like that. It's difficult to grasp. It's not a physical console, you know, it's a sort of a platform stroke service thing in the sky. Cloud gaming is a disruptor. Just like video on demand. Netflix didn't suddenly launch into the behemoth that it is now. It was terrible in the beginning. And the infrastructure wasn't fully there. I remember I couldn't get Netflix. My internet wasn't good enough. It was awful when I first tried it. Now look at Netflix, forcing the TV and film industry to change its decades-old way of doing things. But it took time. It took time and investment and pioneering. And now every TV and film company wants their own version of Netflix. Yeah. The same with cloud gaming. It will take time. And it's not just me saying it. This is underlined by the quote from the developer in the original interview, Alicia Colgard from Akupara Games, ladies and gentlemen. Let's find it. She says down here, well, Google's been doing some internal reorganization. That's impacted developers in some ways. They've been transparent about their restructuring. It's a restructure, as we've said. Companies restructure. And are with us always on ways to ensure we're supported to the same level we were when we signed on to the Makers Program. Nothing's changed there for the indies and developers and publishers working for making games and delivering them to Stadia. But the interesting quote here is this. Cloud gaming is still relatively new, but in lots of ways it mirrors early adoption of VR gaming, she says. If you're familiar with technology adoption cycle, this woman knows what she's talking about. Okay, technology adoption life cycle. I'd say we are currently in the early adopter phase. Okay, I'd say, if anything, the founders of the early adopters, early adopter phase, moving into the early majority phase. It hasn't quite reached that watershed moment yet. This is so on the money. But Google is currently pushing the boundaries of the tech and has the strength of brand awareness and funding to really kickstart the field. It's not something that will happen overnight. It's a slow burn, ladies and gentlemen, yeah? It's a slow burn. Cloud gaming, we've talked about it so many times, is inevitable. Okay, it's happening. It's happening already. GeForce Now, PlayStation, xCloud, we know, Xbox. We know it's happening. What Google wants to do, where others take sort of tentative steps, Google want to pioneer and push what cloud gaming can be with their tech. They're setting the benchmark. Yeah, xCloud has all the games you can like. But I bet it dreams of the tech that Stadia has. Equally in the way that Stadia probably dreams of all the games that xCloud has. But somebody needs to be out there pioneering these things. Okay, so what Google needs to do is just keep along the path. They know what they want to do. They know people want the games. Really, at the end of the day, that's how you're going to get people to play it. Make it accessible. Make it have, make sure the games that people want to play are on there. There's no denying that the early damage of that general perception Stadia has been done. Okay. But it's not irreversible, ladies and gentlemen. It's not irreversible. Okay. But the early damage has done. I saw there's a YouTuber my son watches who always does phone reviews. So like my boss man, something like that, or who's the boss? I forgot his name now. Anyway, massive following, always does phone reviews, really good YouTuber, professionally done, all that. But he did 20 inventions we didn't need. And in there he listed Stadia. And he quoted how the thing with Stadia, it's cloud gaming, and you send a signal to the cloud and then it comes back, and that's impossible. How can that work? Too much latency. Then he showed the clip from the Washington Post that's going to haunt Stadia for years when it first launched, from that doofus from the Washington Post who tried to play Stadia on his work network, in the Washington Post offices, and then wondered why it didn't work. It's like me trying it in my corporate offices. Like, because it's not going to work. It's too busy. I mean, if your corporate office gets a gigabit coming in, you've got 100 people using the network. Doofus. Anyway, unfortunately, that's the meme that went around. And so this guy who's done this YouTube video, and he's sort of throwing it in sort of top 20 inventions not needed, whatever. And so he's never played Stadia. He's never used it. And he's quoting a meme from 2019 from a doofus who doesn't have any idea about technology, despite being the technology writer for Washington Post. But that's about the perception. But it's not irreversible. Okay? I mean, you get it. You people get it. Apart from Amnar. You people get it. I get it. Yeah? Of course we do. Because we're bright. We're enlightened. We're in tune. Yeah? We just need everyone else to catch up. We're the pioneers. We're the founders. People will catch up with us. But the Stadia negativity, the jokes and the memes, they're going to continue. Of course they'll continue. But what Stadia need to do as a company, in my opinion, it's more stuff like this Nat Hearn thing. Nat Hearn interview. Not all the time, but interviews with those publications that are the key opinion leaders. Yeah? i.e. that have credibility. Constantly, when they have an opportunity of pushing out that message, this is our strategy. Reminding the games press again and again and again. And then following up that with actions, like a dripping tap. Now, this is a difficult balance without having grand, big announcements all the time. You're not going to get all those grand, big announcements all the time. But just get the balance right, just now and then, when they launch a new feature, just have a Nate Ahern or a Dov or someone else just touch base with their gaming press, contacts, Jack Balser, something like that, to do another interview. Just, as I say, just now and then, just keep reiterating the message. Yeah? They've just hired a brand new social media manager. And it's quite interesting, actually. You might have seen her out there. Chaka Khan. Not Chaka Khan. Princessology here. Chaka explains it all. She joined Google today. After spending 4 years working for Pikachu, I wanted to make a new challenge, but it was hard to decide what exactly I wanted that next step to be. So I'd Googled it, literally. And here she's updating social marketing manager for Google Stadia. Her first day at work. Welcome to the Thunderdome. Welcome to the Stadia community, Chaka. But the interesting thing about her here, she's got 13.4 thousand followers. She's got her own kind of life. She does cosplay and things like this. Obviously worked at Pokemon, built up a good following. So it's kind of interesting. They obviously employed her for her, her skills, her social media, working at Pokemon company and stuff like that. But also, she could demonstrate she knows social media because you just check out her following. 13,000 followers. So she's a new social media manager at Google. What's that, Clive? Google hiring? They're hiring people. Yes, they are. They're hiring people. Yeah? Tick. Another indicator. Yeah, another indicator. Grace at Google was recently promoted. Good work, Grace. Good work. I'm not sure whether these two things are related. There's been a shuffle around. Grace is the community manager. This is a social media manager role. So I'm not sure they're related, but they could be like a shuffling around. But anyway, they're recruiting in one of the main areas they need to get that message out. Social media. All the while, so they're recruiting, all the while continuing to add the games, working with the AAA publishers to bringing new features, get Stadia on all the devices you own, doing the deals with TV manufacturers to make sure the Stadia app is one of the sort of de facto pre-installed apps, like a Netflix or a Spotify or an Amazon. Everything they're already doing, by the way, this is nothing new. They're already doing this, yeah? They're doing all these actions. Actions, people. Yeah, people are, I've read that article, but I'd like to see some actions. They're literally doing it, yeah? Quick note, as I say to people who say that. Well, actually, I think I'll judge them by their actions, Clive, not just words. It's all right for Nate saying it's alive and well, but I'll judge them by their actions. Well, clearly you're not judging them by their actions. Because I want to remind you that since January, nearly every AAA multi-platform game release this year has come to Stadia day and date. Yeah? We see continued partnerships with Sega, Capcom, EA, Ubisoft. Yeah? Features being rolled out in the last few weeks. Need I go on? Their actions are matching their words. Yeah, the actions back up the words there. What can't you see? So don't be going, yeah, I want to see the action. They're doing it. What you're saying is, I want to see more. Yeah, you're just moving the goalposts. I want to see more actions. Don't know why. Maybe you need more satisfaction, more proof. That's fine. More proof of life, as it were. The thing is breathing, running around, and playing soccer with its mates. There's proof of life there. Yeah, no, I need to see it to do some somersaults backwards. Anyway, I digress. What Stadia needs to do is keep doing that. Roll it out to the more gaming hungry countries. Massive populations that have not had the benefits of AAA playing consoles. Before you know it, Stadia will be everywhere. Stadia is everywhere in a way. It's on your phone. Oh, there's Stadia. On your iPhone, oh, there's Stadia. On your browser, in your browser, oh, on your desktop, tablet, oh, there's Stadia. Chromecast with Google TV very soon. Oh, there's Stadia. Google TV on TVs. Oh, there's Stadia. On your brand new smart TV, your smart LG, oh, there's a standalone app for Stadia. Sony TV, oh, there's a Stadia app. There's Stadia. There's Stadia. Everywhere. Drip, drip, drip. And before long, the bath is overrunning. Yeah, when nobody's noticed, nobody's realized. Oh my God, it's everywhere. Stadia is everywhere. Slow and steady. So just be patient. Ignore the hate. Don't spread it about. Ignore it. Yeah. Play the great games you have. And the 50 plus games still to come over the next 6 months. Plus all the games beyond that. Stadia's not going anywhere. anytime soon. Trust me. All the breadcrumbs are there, as I've said over the last 3 weeks. The last 3 shows, as I've said. And exactly as Nate Ahern has confirmed and backed up what I've said. Working with the AAAs, working with new indies, bringing new features, bringing AAAs to Stadia Pro. Wow. Clive, everything I've said, wow, that Clive, it's almost as though you know what the fudge you're talking about. Fancy that. Who knew? That's why you come here, people. That's why you come to this show. Yeah. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just check out the chat. Ubisoft killing it. They are, indeed. Let's go to the chat. Boing. Yeah. What you want to see, I mean, Stadia obviously very early doors, before they launched, built that relationship with Ubisoft, and it continues to pay dividends. What would be really good, and you know, they obviously built a relationship with EA, they built a relationship with Sega, they built one with Capcom, but those relationships are at different stages of development, I would say. You know, we know we've still got 2 games from EA due. Personally, now, as time has gone by, I think the 2 extra games are FIFA 22 and Madden 22. I think they were working on those at the same time they were working on FIFA 21 and Madden 21 for Stadia. That's my thought. It's just an opinion, a gut feeling. I don't have anything to go on it. I would love it to be Apex or something like that, but I think realistically that's probably what it will be. Those 2, which will be fine. But it would be good to see that relationship develop further, again, with the Capcom. You know, obviously a good relationship they've got there with the Resident Evil games. Be good to see some other games coming. Sega, hopefully we'll see Lost Judgment coming later in the year. So, as I say, Ubisoft, that relationship was developed 2 years ago. And they're well into that relationship now. Some of the other relationships clearly are much earlier in the life cycle. So hopefully, if things continue in that Ubisoft way, because Ubisoft is showing the way and absolutely killing it, really helping and supporting the credibility of Stadia by, you know, making sure that all their big AAA games come to Stadia. And it'll be good to see. How Monkey Dev said that porting to Stadia not a problem. So on that, yeah, so in order for games to work so well, I think that's the payoff, that you have to develop specifically for Stadia rather than just port it from a PC version. I think to maximize the power of Stadia, it makes sense. And exactly, Christopher, the developer of Death Carnival says, oh, you put Hellpoint, but also Death Carnival said it's pretty straightforward. Initially, there's a learning curve. Like, and of course it is new technology. But not only is Stadia working with developers and working with Unity to make that process as easy as possible, the more they do it, you know, they've restructured the company so they can focus on development engineers to work with developers and indies. So that makes the indies, that's my TV talk, that work with developers to make that process easier. And the developer of Death Carnival said, yeah, it was difficult. You know, there was a learning curve, difficult in terms that there was a learning curve. But actually now it's pretty straightforward. It's not that difficult. You know, it's not a flick of a switch. There's still work to be done. But I think you benefit from the quality of the port. Is my feeling. Again, I can't back that up. But some of the ports we've seen are awesome, and I put that down to the, you know. Well, they are. You know, they're working with Unity, and as their Unity engine develops for the future and has more tools available for Stadia, then that whole process, and as people get into the flow and the process, it's about processes and understanding the flow and how things work. So, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. It would be easier if it was just a straight PC port. Of course it would, and then you'd be almost in a Luna or a GeForce Now. But I'm not sure you'd see the best of the tech. I think there's something to be said for having to port specifically to Stadia. And as time goes by, as I've said it loads of times on here, people get hold of the technology, they find that process easier. The developer of Death Carnival has said it's a pretty straightforward process. It's not particularly difficult. It's not onerous. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I've said this on here. You know, you always find the best games for PlayStation and Xbox always much later in the life cycle of the console as developers get the hang of the technology. Porting as well. Yeah, I'm very much of the thought that there won't be any Stadia announcements. I think people get a bit carried away. Google I/O is a developer conference. They might make a few announcements, but not necessarily about. It's about developing apps and technology work. You know, third parties working with Google and stuff like that. You know, there isn't a seminar. I've said it before. There isn't a seminar on YouTube. Yeah, there isn't a seminar on Gmail. There isn't a seminar on Stadia. There is a seminar about how they use some Google technology, Flutter, and how they've used that to help implement the processes of Stadia and Google Pay. So they are interesting, what's the word? Interesting cases, not cases, I can't think of the word. But anyway, interesting examples of how Flutter can be used, and Dart. It's Flutter and Dart, which are Google programming technologies, as I understand it. I'm not a programmer, but Google and Dart are programming technologies within Google to help deliver things like Stadia and like Google Pay. So it's using them as examples rather than being specifically about Stadia. But as I say, I wasn't expecting anything at Google I/O specifically about Stadia. So it's not going to, God, here, it's not going to be an announcement or anything. It's not. Are you talking about that Flutter piece or a separate window that suddenly appeared, Hell Monkey? Because if there's another window at Stadia, I missed that one when I looked up. Well, I think a lot of developers are moving towards Linux. You know, people may say, "Oh, why? You know, why didn't Stadia make it easier? You know, with using DirectX and Windows and all that kind of stuff." That's because it's an out of date technology, and Stadia is looking at the future. Yeah, so they looked at, okay, what are the tools that are going to be most commonly used in the future, or the most versatile tools that are friendly, especially for cross-platforming and stuff like that. It's probably Linux. So they're investing in the future, and there's pain. Oh, the same window, ask me anything. Thank you, Hell Monkey. Thank you for that. Well, this is the thing, Junior. You know, and sort of one of my main themes that runs through, and I think, you know, is as long as Google just keeps bringing the games people want to play, making sure they're consistent with day and date things, and getting those big titles, which is what their energy is into, keep marketing that you can play it anywhere, making sure the app appears on all the devices you own, yeah? Then before you know it, in maybe a year's time, like I said, Stadia will be everywhere. It'll be so easy just to pick it up and give it a go. And you just need to get over that bump of that kind of initial negative perception. Most people that we know, or say a lot of people, a few people that, certainly we see it on Reddit all the time. Every day on Reddit, there's somebody going, oh, I just picked up Stadia. I thought it was a load of rubbish, but it was amazing. I've just been playing Resident Evil. It was awesome. I didn't know. Oh my God, I'm never going to buy a console again. You see this theme constantly on Reddit. So we know if it works for you, it works really well. So it's just about making it easy for people to try and having stuff they want to try. It's very simple, very straightforward. Get the games people want to play, make it easy to play. I mean, I don't know what's much easier than typing in stadia.com into your browser, to be honest, but make it so it's easy to play on the TV because there's an app right there next to Netflix, Disney, Amazon, Stadia. Yeah. But I don't have a controller. That's all right. You can use your phone as a controller. Well, I've only got a PlayStation controller. That's all right. You can use your phone, connect it to play on your TV. Or if not, just play in your browser. True, Hell Monkey, that's true. But they both cross-platform. Mass Effect. Very valid, Hell Monkey. I'm not arguing with that. Again, isn't that Xbox? Oh, we're getting into, arguably, maybe at the beginning of the year there was less AAA, and we're getting into more and more. I'm getting remember my mute list will grow over the course of I/O, and people don't get that I/O is bad. Of course, people just raise your eyes, roll your eyes back, and just ignore it, Jerry. Yeah, is it PC? Is it PC only? It's got to be cross-platform to qualify. No, it is. PlayStation. Oh no. Oh, the original one. God, it was cross-platform. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it. It's available on the Macintosh, the original Subnautica, back in 2014. Oof. It's even available for the Mac. Who's the developers? Who's the publisher? Just checking it out here. That's the original one. Let's have a look. Was it Sub-Zero? It's on Unity. Epic Store 2019. Introduced as early access by Steam and Epic Game Stores in 2019. And then released for Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch by Bandai Namco. Maybe it wasn't on their radar. But yeah, no, I accept that. That's unfortunate. That Subnautica. Is it a AAA game? Is it AAA? I don't know. I'd argue whether it's AAA. It's funny. I was thinking about an upgraded Stadia controller, and I'd feel a bit like, what? I've got all these controllers sitting here. I don't really want to get, I don't mind having like not an upgraded one, but one that, I don't know, your Stadia Controller Pro, but not one to replace your Stadia controller. I mean, Xbox have only really upgraded their controller with their new consoles. It's an indie, so it doesn't qualify, Subnautica. Doesn't qualify as a AAA. Biomutant, though, however. Biomutant, I would say. Again, it's not, I don't know, it's big. I know it's much anticipated. Swedish development, TH Nordic. On 25th of May for Windows, PlayStation, Xbox One. Again, I don't know, Hell Monkey. I'm debating now. Yeah, I know. I think Unity. I was like, when I saw that, I was surprised, and the fact that it's on Mac, on the Mac, on Apple. Jesus. Yeah, I've got. Obviously, anybody who watches my channel for other stuff other than Stadia, I did a review of the Power A enhanced Xbox controller with the little paddles at the back and stuff like that. Yeah, that works on Stadia, of course. Yeah, okay. I stand by what I said. I don't think they qualify. You put me off my course for a moment there, monkey. But no, you know what you're doing, you cheeky monkey. They're not AAAs. Okay, I stand by what I said. The big multi-platform AAAs. I'm not counting it as a AAA. Although that's not to say it isn't an awesome looking effect. I'll give you Mass Effect. That is a AAA. What is it though? Is it a Yeah, it's a compilation. Yeah, a compilation of 3 games. Yeah, so the game's already developed. That's easy. That's low-hanging fruit for the publisher. Wouldn't be in their interest to deliver it on Stadia. They haven't enhanced it, have they? So, yeah. Xbox. Yeah, so I stand by what I say. The AAA multi-platforms, most of them come to Stadia this year. It's not a AAA. You can't just rattle off all the titles. It has to be AAA. Yep. Correct. Coming to Stadia. Far Cry 6, AAA. Yeah, but I mean, I haven't got any problem with the AA. I mean, arguably, Little Nightmares is a AA. It's not a battery, Clive. Is a AA. Brilliant title. But what I was just talking is that if you've got limited resources in terms of what you're targeting, you make sure you get those AAA ones. Tick them off. That's what you need to be targeting. They're not going to get everything because you're going to have problems with Activision and Blizzard. And they obviously clearly, as far as we can tell, don't have a relationship. There's no evidence to say they have a relationship there that they, and they need to work on that. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they'd love to. But yeah, so I'm not discriminating the games. And of course, it'd be great to see those games. But for my argument, No, my argument, Hell Monkey, is that as a benchmark, it would be great. It would be great to have these games. Of course it would. But I would say put all your efforts into developing the future, seeding the market in terms of, bringing on developers, getting new developers working with technology because they're the future, but also make sure those AAA games that are coming to other platforms are coming to yours at the same time, roughly. And generally this year, so far, they've sort of done that. That's not to dismiss. In no way am I dismissing those games that you're referencing. I think they're great, and of course they would be an absolute, brilliant if they came to Stadia. Of course they would. There's no denying that. But the example I was making was specifically about a very specific target. AAA games, multi-platform, brand new AAA games, multi-platform, day and date. So far, tick, tick, tick. So as long as we continue to see that, yeah? Yeah. In fairness, For Honor is an old title that's got new DLC. So it's not like a For Honor 6 or something, you know. Good to see those remakes. They'd be nice. You never know. But what would you have? Would you have, would you prefer to see Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, and then something like, I want to say Monster World. What's the other big Capcom title? That's Sega, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, that wasn't a good example then. What's the other big Capcom game I was thinking of? Yeah. I mean, so that's what they need to concentrate on. They've got a finite amount of people, finite amount of budget. You know, yes, it's Google and everything, but you've got to work within your budget constraints. So concentrate on bigger, better. Yeah, sometimes it's better to concentrate on those things that have the big impact and stuff like that. So anyway. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. It would be great to see all these games that you mentioned. Of course it would. And, you know, hey, who's to say, you know, they weren't. There's still there's still relationships to develop with some publishers that we've not seen and things like that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for spending your time with me this evening. I hope you enjoyed the show. Always a pleasure to see so many people in the chat and engaging with you and all of that. Have a wonderful afternoon, evening, whatever it is. Have a wonderful week. Look forward to what delights Stadia brings to the community blog tomorrow. Check out Rock's show when hopefully the Stadia blog is published in time for the show. And have a good one. And I'll see you around all very, very soon. Thank you very much, everybody.